Today on WBLN News, Tombola was a great success. Today's the New Hampshire primary, and the Belen soccer team moves on. All this and more coming up right now. Good morning, Belen. I'm Stephen Cayes.
And I'm Gabriel Tozo. Welcome to this edition of WBLN for February 9th, 2016.
This past weekend, Belen celebrated its annual fundraiser, Tombola. Much anticipation goes towards this event every year, and just like every year before, it was a huge success. Behind all the rides, fun and games, and great food prepared by our very own Belen faculty, Tombola raised money for the Belen Scholarship Fund. This year, Belen raised over $500,000, which will help our students to take advantage of our extraordinary education.
Tombola was a very strong success this weekend. We raised $501,000, which was pretty impressive, all things considered. We had a couple of events going on locally, and we also had the Super Bowl on Sunday. Had a nice crowd for that as well, and we're looking forward to an even better next year.
There's a lot at stake in New Hampshire, and with the primary today, the candidates are investing a lot of time and effort to win over voters. Frankie Blanc more.
Less than 24 hours from being on the debate stage, candidates are back to canvassing the Granite State for more supporters. In a recent poll of likely Republican primary voters, the winner of the Republican Iowa caucuses, Ted Cruz, placed third. Marco Rubio bumped up to second place, and Donald Trump came in first.
I picked up a lot of delegates in Iowa, and in New Hampshire, I think I'm going to do very well. I have a great relationship between the vets and all of the people in New Hampshire. They just seem to be very positive for me.
Rubio says he plans to stick with the same approaches he used in Iowa.
Same strategy in New Hampshire. We want to get as many people to vote for me as possible, and we'll keep moving forward.
The same CNN WMUR poll for likely Democratic primary voters shows Senator Bernie Sanders leading with 58% compared to 35% for Hillary Clinton.
When we began this campaign here in New Hampshire, we were 30 points down in the polls.
Despite Sanders' significant lead, Clinton remains optimistic about Tuesday's turnout.
I love the New Hampshire primary. I love it because the interactions you have with voters in every setting is so rewarding. I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm behind. I am in very good spirits about that because I love the process.
For WBLN News, I'm Francisco Blanco.
Thank you, Frankie. Stay with us as we bring you the latest news from New Hampshire.
Acting U.S. Secretary of Education John B. King Jr. wants states and districts to focus on streamlined, higher quality tests in a broad effort to win back some classroom time. Now here's the interesting part. The feds are actually going to pay for some of the transition. Mr. King said in a video message, good assessments can be a part of great learning experiences, but simplistic or poorly constructed tests just take away from critical learning time without providing useful information. Despite good intentions, there are too many places around the world, the country, where the balance still isn't quite right. The federal law, which was recently updated, requires students to be tested once a year in math and reading between 3rd and 8th grade, and again in high school. A 2015 report found that students from kindergarten to 12th grade make an average of 8 standardized tests every single year. Last fall, President Obama called to reduce unnecessary testing. The Education Department has announced more details of how federal money could be used to audit testing programs, to eliminate redundancy and get rid of low-quality tests. The department also says federal money can be used to improve tests and to help teachers and parents better understand and learn from the data they get from those tests.
The United States is closely watching the situation on the Korean Peninsula. Concerns are growing that North Korea is getting closer to being able to launch a long-range missile to the mainland U.S. with a nuclear warhead. Gustavo Roig has more.
It took 9 minutes and 46 seconds to get into orbit. On the way up, it dropped debris in 4 locations in the seas off the Korean Peninsula and Japan. But now, the military and political fallout is resonating around the world from North Korea's rocket launch. U.S. and South Korean forces are on high alert. U.S. officials says that additional sanctions and possible military responses are on the table, and they will begin talking to the South Koreans about setting up so-called THAAD defense batteries, capable of shooting down high-altitude missiles. Coming on the heels of what North Korea claimed was a hydrogen bomb test, the threat level from Kim Jong-un's regime has rarely been higher.
This shows that North Korea has mastered a very complex technology, which are 3-stage launchers. So at this point, I think North Korea has made a qualitative leap, and soon they're going to make a quantitative leap because they can actually start to put these things in production.
The North Koreans are crowning over the launch with a celebratory display of fireworks. The regime's popular news anchor says this was a gift from their top scientists to quote the great comrade Kim Jong-un, and she vows there will be more satellite launches. Experts say Kim's doing this to extort economic concessions from the US, South Korea, and China, but he's also got to show off strength inside his regime, ahead of a massive gathering of top officials this spring.
In the run-up to the May Workers' Party Congress, he wants to demonstrate success so that he goes into that party Congress with a great deal of leverage.
Analysts say Kim's also in a tense position with his top generals after he tried to take power away from them.
He's had to execute some senior generals, and I think that essentially there is this friction that remains between the Kim inner circle and the generals and the admirals. And so therefore, he's got to give the military what it wants, which is a stronger nuclear deterrent, as well as long-range ballistic missiles.
A high-stakes standoff that the military got units jittery on both sides of the DMZ. The South Korean military fired warning shots after a North Korean patrol boat crossed their maritime border. One analysis says with the tension so high, we can expect more cross-border skirmishes.
Now here's your scoop for today. Now stay tuned as we bring you weather and sports right after these messages.
Good morning, Wolverines. Today's going to be a beautiful day, so let's take a look at today's weather. As I told you right now, there's going to be no clouds in the sky, and it's just getting better as the week goes on. Let's take a look at the highs and lows for today. Today, the high is a 68 and a low is 53 with relative humidity at 59%. Winds coming in from the west-southwest at 12 miles an hour. It's going to be mostly sunny with 0% chance of rain. Let's take a look at the next 3 days. Tomorrow is going to be a high of 65 with a low of 50 with a 10% chance of rain. Thursday, a high of 67, low of 51 with a 0% chance of rain. And on Friday, a high of 71 and a low of 57 with a 10% chance of rain. That's all for weather. Now to Mark with the sports.
The Wolverines varsity soccer team took on a tough opponent in South Fork High School in the regional final game. Frankie de la Cámara started the game off with a nice goal. With under 5 minutes left in the first half, South Fork tied the game up with a goal of their own. Tavish Rice sealed the deal with a tap-in goal off a corner kick in the closing seconds of the game. Final score was Belen 2, South Fork 1. The Wolverines will play in the state semifinal game on Thursday in Melbourne. There will be a Wolverine fan bus to the soccer state semifinals on Thursday. The bus will depart Belen to go to Melbourne High School at 1:30 p.m. and return after the game. The cost is $35. It includes a soccer playoff t-shirt. Checks can be made payable to Belen Jesuit. Payment and parent permission must be submitted to the Office of Student Activities. Guys, the price of the fan bus does not include the admission to the game, which is $8. On the home front, the varsity baseball team takes the field against Hialeah High. First pitch is 3:30 p.m. here at home. The JV lacrosse team opens its season here at home in what looks to be a really exciting season as Cardinal Gibbons comes to Belen. The match will be at 4:30 p.m. on the Hernandez Field. The Denver Broncos are the Super Bowl champions as they defeated the Carolina Panthers in a much-anticipated Super Bowl 50. The game was a defensive battle with the top two defenses squaring off. The Broncos' pass rush, led by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, suffocated MVP Cam Newton all night. They sacked Newton 7 times, tying the Super Bowl record. Final score was Broncos 24, Panthers 10. Peyton Manning became the oldest quarterback to start and also win the Super Bowl. In possibly his last ever game, Manning went out on top with the Super Bowl win. He became the first quarterback with 200 all-time wins. Whether he will officially retire will be the question heading into the upcoming months. That's all for sports, guys. Now back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Mark. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for all the latest news and pictures. I'm Stephen Calles.
And I'm Gabriel Tozo. From everyone here at WBLN, have a wonderful day and stay golden, Wolverines.